Joining us this week for our Newsmaker segment, we have Bonner Gaylord, Head of Operations for North Hills, and John Kane, President and CEO of Kane Realty. Gentlemen, thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
John,
Thanks.
Why don't you start? Tell us a little bit about the vision you had going into the project that you started in 1999 that's resulted in the mixed-use development that is North Hills today.
Well, the vision has evolved actually from the beginning. So in '99, we bought 14 acres where the old Winn-Dixie, for those that have been around for a long time, now Total Wine was, and then we bought the 30-acre site where the old mall was, and so the vision kind of matured and it started to kind of evolve, and then we bought 50 acres over a period of time across the Six Forks Road. And so it's continued to evolve. It's really kind of expanded and evolved over time, and how the market has responded to what we've put on the market.
Well, Bonner, as the guy in charge of the day-to-day operations, what are the complexities involved with a mixed-use project like this?
Well, we do essentially everything that a downtown would do. In my city council role, I'm able to see the functions that city government accomplish, and we accomplish very many of the same objectives. We've got public safety, we've got maintenance, custodial, we've got a lot of infrastructure to take care of. We've got transportation, need to move people around. So it's very similar to the management of a downtown or a small town, because we've got responsibility for thousands of customers on site every day. We need to make sure that they're taken care of and are going about their day in a way that is most efficient and effective for them.
What was the key for those of us who don't live in Raleigh? I did back in the day when it was the old North Hills, but what was the key to making the conversion, since so many other communities haven't been able to do that with their existing retail?
Well, yeah, one of the challenges with really doing conversions on retail, and actually office too, but more so with retail, is that there are lots of leases, and the leases have terms and options and co-tenancies and all kinds of other things involved there. So being able to tear them all down and redevelop it is sometimes not doable because the leases prohibit that.
And you were able to because just broad vision?
No, I don't know that vision has a lot to do with that. We were fortunate in that Dillard had left, and so they were gone. Penny is still there, quite frankly, and so that lease is still in place.
Right.
But a lot of the leases that were in there had coterminous expirations, which was good. And our deal with the seller actually was they had to get rid of a lot of the leases, and they had to deal with that.
Well, Bonner, in your role as a member of the Raleigh City Council, you see this now really from both sides, as someone actively involved in the running of a business and somebody making public policy decisions. Where do you see government not fully understanding or appreciating what it does take for a business to be successful?
Well, government has a lot of roles. One of those roles is a regulatory role. So in any role, in any situation where the government has a regulatory role, they need to provide a pathway to success. And so I think in providing that pathway, there need to be certain steps that need to be undertaken in order to proceed with an idea that might have an impact on others. And so from my perspective, we in the government need to constantly look at business processes and see how we can align our processes with business processes to make sure that we're providing an efficient and effective pathway to success for any sort of business outcome that's desired. That may be real estate development, which is a business process that's pretty intensive in the city of Raleigh, as it should be, or it can be getting licenses or other business processes that are necessary for government to meet those needs.
It seems like the key to back to North Hills is the mixed use is very mixed use, but retailing is a huge story right now. What's going on there? Could you talk a little bit about your views on the future of brick and mortar retailing?
You know, retail's always evolving. It's always changing. It's never staying the same, and it's always been like that. So I don't think it'll continue to be like that. But probably more so today than ever, just due to the Amazons of the world and all the internet activity that everybody has. And you can even go to most of our stores, you can buy online as well. So how does all that kind of mix and fit? And you know, there's some things that you're going to want to go touch before you buy, and there are other things that you can certainly have delivered at your home like we all do. So it's continuing to evolve, and I think everybody's trying to find their niche and their way in that, and how to balance it.
Are you seeing the users changing, more fitness clubs and non-traditional retailing, or are you affected by that?
Yeah, I mean, you are seeing more of that. I mean, a lot of our retail is more service-oriented retail versus just retail like you think of soft goods. But you know what we've got at North Hills, we've got Bonner, 45 restaurants there or so, And so there's a lot, people working with Wi-Fi with their, phones and iPads and computers. They're in Panera Bread or Starbucks or wherever, and that's their office, So we're becoming a place where people do multiple things. Bonner's managing hotel guests and people that live there 24/7, and people that are working in the offices, as well as retail customers and event customers. So there's a lot to manage there.
Well, just like other industries, you have challenges with workforce. Are you finding the kinds of people you need to help run the company, to be involved in the day-to-day operations?
Yeah, we certainly are always looking for talent. We're always working to get the best and the brightest. We are very fortunate having our 3 Tier 1 research institutions that put out fantastic talent. We're well known as a market that has opportunity, and so people are continually moving here for jobs. And this is a great market for jobs. Getting the best talent is always the challenge, and having processes set up that generate those outcomes.
Are there aspects of the economic policies of the state? Are there things that you would like to see different in terms of encouraging you to continue to look for new projects, to explore new options? Or are there ways that you could be encouraged even further to continue to expand on what you've done?
Well, I think the state does need to be more consistent with their economic development policies. We've had something, it seems like, every year for the last 3 or 4 years between HB2 and JDIC incentives expiring and things of that sort. So what ends up happening for site selectors that are representing companies, these projects take 4, 5, 6, 10 years sometimes to come. So we get off the list because there's not certainty about what's going on in our state. And so our legislature and our administrators need to do a better job of being consistent with encouraging economic development and making the knowns be knowns for a long period of time.
The only thing I would add would be the flexibility of municipalities. The state, being a Dillon Rule state, has control over all municipalities, and I think there's an opportunity with greater flexibility allowed that individual municipalities could pilot ideas. They may be successful, they may not be successful, but flexibility would allow the municipalities to test those ideas and determine the viability.
Are you optimistic on the trends going to be in the right way for the cities in that? Or?
I have not seen evidence that would support optimism in that area, but I would hope that at some point there might be a loosening of reins to an extent to allow that flexibility.
John, in the final 30 seconds, what's the next big thing? What's the project you have on the drawing board right now that'll represent the next generation of mixed-use development?
We've got a lot on the board. We're getting ready to start our project at Peace and West, which is going to be a huge mixed-use project. We're working on with Steve Malik in the soccer stadium on the other side of Capitol Boulevard from that on the state-owned property. We're getting ready to kick off at the end of this year, actually the largest project that we've ever done, which will be on almost $300 million mixed-use project with hotel, residential, 30 stories, as well as 300,000 more feet of office. So a lot on the board.
Well, it's all very exciting, and congratulations on the success you've enjoyed so far, and good luck with these projects in the future.